Hey guys, it's Brandon with Investment Joy. I would love it if you would like and subscribe, but even more than that, I would love to hear your opinion on what you think of the live audio versus me speaking over the video with my nicer blue microphone. This is week 28's collection, and I really am trying to be sensitive to those of you that either watch my content late at night or with headphones or with both. I'm trying to find a great mix of audio quality so that everybody's happy. And as time goes on, I'm improving my quarter collection ability, doing everything with one hand. This collection was done with a lot of people in the laundromat, so I carry on several conversations with people during the video. So doing the video in such a way where I would be speaking over myself really doesn't make sense, and due to editing, you would miss several of the conversations I had with the customers. But one of the interesting conversations I had during the past 2 days that I really wanted to share with you, and it's probably one of my absolute most pleasurable things that I can have as a laundromat owner, and that's the interactions and the conversations that I have with customers. And if you notice at this point, the baby carrier is gone. I am very thankful for that. Anyway, I was in the laundromat just yesterday, and there was an older lady, I would say in her late 50s, maybe early 60s, that was having a terrible day. And the one thing that I've noticed, that if you're having a terrible day, you cannot put coins in the coin acceptor of any of my washing machines. Every single time somebody struggles with putting coins in the quarter acceptors for my washers, they're having a bad day. So I kind of take that as a hint, and I have a conversation with that person. And there was the lady was just struggling with, I said, "Can you tell me what's going on? I'd love to talk to you about what's going on." And she said, "This is one of the worst days I've ever had." And I said, "Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that." And I ended up loading up the washer with quarters because she was struggling to even unwrap a roll of quarters. And she was nicer dressed, and she wasn't coming off the streets. I could tell, she wasn't, struggling with homelessness or anything like that. And she said to me, more or less, "I'm just not myself because I almost lost my phone, and my phone's one of the most important things that I have." And she said, my life is technology." And I thought that, a woman of her age telling me that her life is technology, I think, oh, yeah, you must watch Netflix or cat videos. And she went on to tell me this amazing story. She said, "This is one of the worst days I've ever had, but let me tell you about the worst day I've ever had." She said, "I worked for AT&T through the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And one day when I was in Dallas, Texas, I accidentally turned off the WorldCom server, which, if you're not familiar with what they had going on in the early 90s, in the evenings you could make international phone calls for a severely reduced rate. You would be most of the people back then were calling Europe at that time, so you could call your friends or family in Europe very late in the evenings, and it would be at a hugely diminished rate. Quick aside, this is terrible pacing. My machine's been hacked, and when we were at Walmart with the kids on Saturday, I noticed that all of the games of skill, like this candy machine, were also broken at the local Walmart. So I don't know if there's a conspiracy going on in Central Ohio, but every one of their machines was giving out free plays, just like my snack machine has. So I don't know if there's a serial hacker that's been watching TikTok videos or what, but evidently in the past 3 days, there's a half dozen machines that are screwed up giving out stuff for free, including my candy machine, as mentioned in my last quarter collection, the Mysterious Briefcase video. Going back to the lady, she accidentally shut off the international phone call server for AT&T, and she said it was the worst day I've ever had in my life. I didn't know what to do, and I stayed at the AT&T office in Dallas, or it was either Dallas or Houston, Texas, for the entirety of the evening, trying to struggle to get that server back on, because I knew for a fact that I was the only person in Texas that was working with AT&T that evening. And I struggled, but I eventually got the systems back on. And she said the loss to the company was in the millions. And I knew for a fact that when I went into the office the next day, Monday morning, I would no longer have a job. And so she said she didn't get any sleep. She had stressed out in the few hours between her getting the servers turned back on and that morning, the Monday morning, when she would go in and have to talk to her boss about the terrible things she did that cost AT&T millions of dollars. And she said the difference between the day that happened to me and now is when I went into the office the next day. My boss did not chew me out. My boss didn't berate me. She said, you know what? You got those servers back on. You worked your butt off. You figured out what to do. And believe it or not, this has happened before. But essentially, you are the only person to fix it with that effort. You stayed till the problem was fixed. And she said, oftentimes I have to reference back to that scenario that played out in Texas back in the early 90s, where I thought my entire world was destroyed. This career and technology that I had built up was completely gone. And she said, I don't understand why, but today, with me almost losing my phone, almost equaled that. But I'm very thankful that you came in and you helped me, Brandon, loaded up the washer full of quarters. I just wish that there was something that I could give you in return for helping me with the laundry, coming and having this. This is the summation of the conversation. I had a conversation with her for probably 20 minutes about this, her shutting down a server in Texas, disconnecting everybody's international phone calls. And I said, the thing is, you don't have to pay me any money. And she kept offering to pay me for the washer that I had loaded up, and I'd set the dryers to run for free and some different things like that. And I said, the thing is, the story that you've given me is way more valuable, I think, than any monetary transaction that we could have, because you've given me this wonderful story that I can share with people. I didn't go into the whole YouTube channel monetization deal, but I find as I continue to run this laundromat, even though it's not hugely profitable, I've got the profit and loss statements on the website. We made a few $1,000s last year. I've paid all my bills. I paid principal down on the mortgage. It's not hugely worth my time, but I find that I keep having these absolutely wonderful conversations with people. I'm sure in subsequent videos I can share some of those other stories, but I thought, man, she's having this bad day and she feels like my $2.50 plus the free dryer fees perked her day up. But I thought, man, this is an awesome story of a absolute tragedy turning into triumph, where her boss praised her the next day for turning on the servers and overcoming a international phone line disconnection. And as far as my quarter collections are concerned, this is one of my favorite things, pulling quarters out of that dumpy little pocket in there, because I no longer have to use a coat hanger to go and get the quarters out. They're at a point, they're falling forward. Yes, they're missing the coin hopper, but it's great. I did condense the quarters into those two hoppers there for time's sake. We were very busy at the laundromat. I had 4 separate people doing laundry in there. I talked to a really interesting guy that's a real estate agent with the last brokerage I was with. He just moved back to town, and we were talking about marketing and real estate and that series called The Secret, and he was talking about how everybody churns money over and over again. This collection on the bills with my high-tech solution of bill collecting is low, or it looks low, because I was here Saturday and I had to give my nephew some money. They call it Kentucky Change, where you go and you take money out of the church collection plate and you make change out of it. I feel like that's what I do. This is obviously a very organized quarter collection, because coins are going everywhere like normal. I also shot some extra high-speed or slow-motion video. I had really good feedback on it on the last videos. I love the slow-motion stuff. My kids helped me on the last 2 or 3 videos do endless high-speed videos. We've been doing it at our house with a new lighting rig. I don't know if you've ever watched the YouTube channel called Guga Foods. They do slow motion video, much better than I do. Slow motion video of steaks cooking, and I never in a million years would have thought that I could watch as many videos as I have of slow motion steak cooking. And then after reviewing this video here from my quarter machine, I thought, oh, this is pretty good quality. So I wanted to include it here so you could see the action, or what happens inside the quarter collection machine as it goes on and spins around at a very, very fast frenzy. Over the past day or two doing the collection at my house, I have discovered that depending on the temperature that the machine's in, it goes faster or slower. There's 215 quarters from our Coca-Cola machine out front. I didn't do a collection on the snack machine because of the problem. I'm going to upgrade the internals with new digital stuff. The current ones in there are kind of crummy. This specifically is from the washer-dryer collection, which is a very, very good collection. There's definitely going to be a discrepancy in between the quarter collection and the bills, just because I had to get into the machine over the weekend and give my nephew some money. He said, "Brandon, I'm hungry," and I ran out of food. And I thought, well, you must not be budgeting. Maybe I need to get him on a Dave Ramsey style thing. He's spending his money on LARPing equipment still and swords. He showed me he bought, I don't know if he bought another sword or what. So once again, this is a very good quarter collection. This is my secondary bucket compared to the Medard's bucket, the big green one. They have not sponsored a video. I've been told they will never sponsor me because they love the free advertising. So if anybody wants to sponsor my bucket, like I don't know, Lowe's or Home Depot or somebody else, Ace Hardware would like to sponsor it. I'm very organized, as you guys can tell, because the quarters have gone everywhere once again. Every single time I do a collection, I aspire to be much more organized, and in some ways this collection was more organized because the whole video is about 14 minutes long compared to a 30-minute collection, which I've done in one of my prior videos in the last part of December. So the quarters go everywhere, but overall this collection was good. Once again, give me some feedback on the audio quality. I'm sitting in my office at the warehouse doing the narration for this to try and be sensitive to what you guys are dealing with, for those of you that are watching these videos late at night. I am hoping at some point that I can get a higher quality audio rig specifically for the quarter collections, because the sound of the quarter collection is fantastic. I did one Sunday night where I had my new blue Nano microphone, and the sound quality was relatively good, I felt. So I've also done some more slow motion video of the counter rolling, and as you can see, the amounts just going up very fast. There's a very nice zone in between these where it goes fast or you overload and it starts going slowing down. There was a total of 1,990 quarters for $443 total for the washers and dryers. Here is the bill count. It's $65 only for the the pop machine out front, the red Coca-Cola machine. I struggle very often now with this bill counter, because if there is a bill put inside it that's damaged, it's very problematic. There's 106, I believe, total for the pop machine out front, plus the $1 bills from the dryers. I've had to make several cuts in this because there's no realistic good way to sort out the damaged bills from the ones in good condition, and I think I had to run these bills through 2 or even 3 times just to get them all. There's a way to set it for manual so it doesn't tear the bills up, but I haven't figured that out because, once again, I am so disorganized and slow. Another thing, it's $391 total. That includes the $100 I gave my nephew for whatever he was wanting to do. You guys ask me a lot of times what happens to the quarters after I do the count, and they go right back in my bill exchanger. Essentially, I have not had to ever deposit quarters to the bank. They just go from one thing they go from the bill changer, and my machine's right back into the hopper. I've never had to take quarters to the bank. I take the bills to the bank. The bills are essentially my profit, and if I have to buy or sell quarters, I'll deal with it at a later time. Thanks for watching, guys.